What's poppin', y'all? So tonight I'm going to be making like a creamy chicken pasta. It's going to have a little bit of sun-dried tomatoes, a little bit of basil, real creamy, real cheesy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what we're drinking tonight before we start cooking. Get you one of these. And it's also a little after work glass, so we gonna fill it up just a little bit. Chardonnay, she a little strong, but she gets you there real quick. Alright, so now it's time to get cooking. So y'all know, we always bless these hands before we wash this food. No. We wash these hands before we bless this food. So let's get into these hands. We wash these hands before we bless this food, like I said. And then I typically do like a pretty little wash of my chicken. Try to get rid of, like, you see that? The little piece of the fat that I don't like. Then I go back into it and I cut off the fat that I don't like. And then I start cutting it up into little pieces of chops or cubes, whatever you want to call it. So while letting it sit in the water and the lemon, I go ahead and wash a cutting board my knife because I'm going to use that again. I always need that. All right, so now let's get into the pepper. We're going to cut the pepper up as like little elongated pieces so we can add that into the pasta when it's time to stir the pasta. This is the basil. I love me some basil. Basil is fresh. It has a great little earthy greenery taste. Fresh. That's it. Yeah, fresh. Now we're gonna sprinkle some of the seasoning onto the chicken, and I think I use some garlic, some onion, some Italian seasoning, some blackened seasoning, some salt, and some pepper. And I think I use like a dash of Cajun, just kind of put like a little bit of a kick to it, and a slight hint of paprika. I love you some paprika. See, I checked to make sure that oil was ready and had a little pop to it. Yeah, you gotta make sure that oil is hot enough so that way when that chicken get in there, it's ready to do its thing. But yeah, in between time, I went ahead and put some water in this pot so that way the noodles can go ahead and be a little warm. The water can be a little warm. I tell the noodles again, y'all work with me here, okay? Y'all see that chicken? Back to stirring a little bit just so the noodles don't get a little bit of too touchy, too squishy, and too little lovey-dovey in there. You know, you don't want them to stick together. You want them to separate. You want them to disperse. They can be communicating and shit in there, but just not too much. So as y'all see, I emptied out the chicken in there, but I kept the remains because that juice or that little fatty, that little sauce that's in there, we need all of that. So I'm cooking in this pot, and I put the chicken that I was using already on the side. Yeah, I added some butter, I added my seasoning, I added some heavy white whipping cream, and I also added some flour to make it like a little bit of thick. A little thick, yeah. Now I'm adding a little minced garlic here to get a little taste to it. Now we adding some chili flakes and some Parmesan cheese. Y'all, like I said, love me some little spice. Spice. I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Alright, now I'm adding some cherry tomatoes and some of the little juice that come in there because I love me some cherry tomatoes. I actually love the little juice that it comes in as well. So I added that, a little dab in there as well to get a little bit of flavor. The noodles is done. We drain them out. Now we adding the chicken in there. Look at that sauce, y'all. Scrumptious delicious right there. Damn, I wish I had it right now. Y'all, this was a really good meal for me. So now I am coating the aluminum foil with some butter to put these little dinner rolls on here. These things, I don't know what's in them, but they're good. And if you ain't never had one, baby, go over down to Walmart, your Kroger, your BJ's, your Sam's, and get you some. All right, so I let them go ahead and cook and bake. And in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and saute my green onions on the stove before I put it in that pot. Once I put it in that pot, I'm going to stir everything together. Put some little basil in there, that little greenery, the earth taste. We're going to throw that up together and let that simmer for a second. So while that simmer on low, is it on low or is it off? I feel like it was on off, but it's probably on low. It's real low. We're going to wash these dishes because what we do, we clean and we cook. We clean and we cook. You see them? And all you do is add a little bit of butter on top. And that's all you need for these little things. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what's in them, but they're real good. They kind of remind me of like Hawaiian rolls, but like not as sweet. And I like that. So now we plating this plate. I try to make it as pretty as I could for y'all. Because I was ready to eat. Okay? I didn't have a glass. And y'all see my glass. This is how I feel right now. So I'm topping it off with a little bit of Parmesan cheese to get a little bit of razzle dazzle. Y'all see this plate? Y'all see this glass? I'm happy. Let me show y'all this plate again in case you didn't see it the first time, okay? Yeah. Good home cooking meal, baby. Alright, so look at my plate. I got my glass. And now I'm about to enjoy my dinner. If y'all try this dinner, let me know what it gave. Because mine gave a 10 out of 10. I love you all. Y'all have a good night. Oh, yeah. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. And follow me on YouTube right here. Bye. Y'all have a good night. Bye.